So let us look at this blue graph here and see what happened to it. The function y equal to 1 over x minus 3 represents the blue graph. Remember, we cannot divide by 0, that's why we say x cannot be 0. So in this case, our domain is everything, all the real numbers, except the number 0. And the range will be all real numbers, but again, this cannot be 0, so cannot have an answer of minus 3. So that means we have a vertical asymptote of x equal to 0 and a horizontal asymptote of y equal to minus 3. Remember, asymptote is something that cannot be reached. It's possible to have a graph that crosses the asymptote, a horizontal asymptote specifically, but by asymptote we mean the behavior near to an axis like the x equal to 0 or horizontal axis, what happens for very large x values of positive or very large negative x values. The lines of symmetry, we will take y equal to x, whatever is below here, below there, the x there, and then we subtract the 3. And minus x as the symmetry of the normal one, minus x, and we subtract this 3. So algebraically, if we want to find the coordinates of the vertices, then we must solve y equal to x minus 3 and 1 over x minus 3 simultaneously. So we will have that equal to 1 over x minus 3. If I multiply by x, remember x cannot be 0, then I get x squared minus 3x is equal to 1 minus 3x, and that gives me again x squared is equal to 1, so x is equal to plus or minus 1. So if x is equal to plus 1, then y is equal to 1 minus 3, which is negative 2, and if x is equal to minus 1, then y is equal to minus 1 minus 3, that gives me negative 4. So that means that we have I've already substituted back to find y. So for E is the top one of the two, so that happens at x equal to 1 and y equal to negative 2, and F is minus 1 and minus 4. So what happens here with the blue graph? The blue graph is the mother graph shifted 3 units down. So let us see here, we have our y equal to 1 over x, we have y equal to x, we have y equal to minus x, and we have y equal to 1 over x here. So if I take this value and if I take that value and I want to go to E, I have to move 3 units down. Minus 3q is equal to minus 3. That's negative, so we go down. And from there to there, we have 3 units down. And from there, 3 units down. And from there, 3 units down. Let us look at the intercepts. If we look at the x-intercept, then my y must be equal to 0. We can ignore that. Y equal to 0, so we have 1 over x minus 3 should be equal to 0. We know x is not 0. So if I multiply by 0, I get 1 minus 3x equal to 0, so x is equal to 1/3. And my y-intercept, If I put x equal to 0, I will get y equal to 1 over 0 minus 3, which is undefined. So there's no y-intercept. We zoom in a little bit and see that here that is approximately 1/3 there. And if we zoom in a little bit, we see that this y-axis is a vertical asymptote, x equal to 0, and this blue graph doesn't have a y-intercept, so it agrees with algebra. As a summary, if p is 0, k is positive, but k is now negative, then our hyperbola shifts vertically kilunits down. The horizontal asymptote as well as the two axes of symmetry shift with the graph.